Cartilage regeneration. No more joint pains, and you'll have mobility like a teenager. So you can live a better quality of life. So if you'd like to live pain-free with the freedom of mobility, run, play, dance, travel, do sports, like the freedom of a teenager, no matter what your age is, stay with me. I will show you how to do that. I'm Alan Warnitz, a nutrition expert. I've helped thousands of people restore their health with nutrition and supplements and help them lead a better quality of life. I've been doing this for 25 years. So I will show you how I discovered that you can regenerate your joints. You can regenerate your cartilage. You can regenerate your tendons, hamstrings, ligaments, and even your discs. Even if you've had damaged discs in your spine, that can be regenerated. Now, it might sound unreal. You might be suspicious about it. I can understand that. However, it took me many years to discover this, and I have enough of results from my own personal clients and even myself to be able to have authority to share this with you, the 5 steps that will take you to live pain-free with the freedom of mobility like a teenager. So how is that possible? Well, if you listen to me and you watch my video and I give you the 5 steps, here they are. They're all listed here. I will go through each one. It will take you to that result. It's possible, it's been done, and I will share with you how I have actually approached it and what I've done and my discoveries that I've helped people. All right, so you've probably been, I know we've been conditioned that once you've got joint pains, once the cartilage is damaged, once the joints are damaged, the tendons are damaged, nothing you can do, live with it, take painkillers, take steroids, cortisol. That's the approach and that's the accepted norm. Well, let me share with you that there is a way to actually break through that and to give you back that mobility, which I'm sharing here with you. So if you know somebody or yourself, if you've suffered with arthritis, osteoarthritis, gout, disc degeneration, hips, needing hip replacement, back pains, spine injuries, pains when you're bending, whenever you bend, your joints are painful, tennis elbow, all these, stay with me, I will give you the story. So I've been in nutrition and I have helped these people. So I've got a few stories to help. Somebody who's had spine injuries has been doing stem cell therapies, costing a lot of money, in pain all the time, could not move, anything like this. Within 1 year of this set, those 5 steps, that person is back to normal and walking. I met a person who had an accident and spine was injured, spine was actually broken without injuring the spinal cord. Today that person is back to normal, walking. Before that, couldn't drive, couldn't hardly walk, was like semi-paralyzed. So that's another story. Knee operations. I have a client, a 22-year-old, who had a knee operation from damage from playing cricket and sports and had his knees restored and repaired within 1 month. And he's back in sports and playing harder than he used to play. Another sportsman, a bit older, took 3 months after a knee operation, after 14 years of suffering with the knee operation and couldn't really function as well as he could. That story also, that person. Now, I'm telling you these stories are documented. In other words, I have the videos on these people. I have interviewed them. You can even make contact with them and they are happy to share these testimonials. I have a friend who had problems bending his knee while in the shower. It was painful. Bending his knee to get inside into the car was painful. Getting off a chair was painful. You know, like you had to prepare yourself for the pain and get up with the knee gone. Right. So these are the stories that I have. As I said, they are documented and you are welcome to ask me to share with you those documented stories. So now let's get into the steps, the 5 steps, what they are and what is the approach. It's a step-by-step approach that you take. And when you do this, if you've had your knee injuries or knee pains or joint pains, rest assured you follow that. And you can actually do this at home as well, because these are simple things which you can start. You can start with step 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 and 5 are a bit more complex. These are the points where you can contact me and we can have a free 30-minute health consultation. The link is below, and then we will go there. So let's go through each one. So number 1 is inflammation. You have to reduce inflammation. So when you've had sports injuries or you've had injuries or the body has been subject to a lot of toxins, joints start getting damaged and it gets damaged with inflammation. So what the inflammation does, it destroys the cartilage. So as the cartilage gets eaten up, eventually, as you get older, you get to the point of bone to bone. So that is extremely painful. All right. So what happens during inflammation? The cartilage gets destroyed. What is the handling? What is the treatment? Steroids, cortisol. And the problem with cortisol, if you keep on taking cortisol, at the beginning you get instant relief, but as the days go, as the weeks go, as the years go, that does not help anymore. So you start increasing the amount of cortisol, and as you increase cortisol, it actually impairs healing and actually makes your skin thinner. So there's many other problems that happen with cortisol that's taken medically. And also with inflammation, calcium deposits in your joints. So when calcium deposits in your joints, it hardens it. So the cushion that is supposed to have between the joints, that cushion where when the joints touch each other, there is a cushion, that's the cartilage, that gets damaged. And if you've got tendons also that are keeping the bones together, or you've got the ligaments which are keeping the muscles to the bone, all these start getting also damaged with calcium deposits. So first thing is you have to remove the inflammation. So there's quite a few supplements which I've discovered which actually helps remove inflammation and helps the body produce its own cortisol. Did you know your body can make its own cortisol? Maybe you don't know, but I'm telling you it makes its own cortisol. I discovered the formula and I'm sharing that formula with you. Here it is. Number 1, vitamin B5, between 250 to 500 milligrams of vitamin B5. Vitamin B5 is called pantothenic acid. Together with vitamin C, 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C. And number 3, with omega-3, 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of omega-3 and a B complex, 10 to 25 milligrams, or you can get it in nutritional yeast from the B complex. So you take 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will feed the adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands will start making cortisol. So as soon as the body makes cortisol, you start getting relief. So if you have arthritis and your fingers have been stuck like this, you're going to find the inflammation is going to go, and your fingers are going to slowly start moving. But movement is not as good because all you're doing is you're removing inflammation. Next thing you have to do is you have to remove the calcium deposits that have actually been embedded in your cartilage. So how do you remove calcium deposits in the joints? It's actually, you need to remove the calcium and taking it back to the bones where it belongs. Calcium does not belong in your joints, it belongs in your bones. So what you do is you have vitamin D. Vitamin D is the carrier. It transports the calcium. You take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D daily. So that's your carrier. So when the calcium is released, the vitamin D attaches itself to it and takes it where it belongs. But for the calcium to detach out of the cartilage, you have to remove that calcium. You take vitamin K2. So with vitamin K2, it dislodges the calcium, puts it back into circulation, gets connected to vitamin D, and the vitamin D takes it to the bone, and the K2 now deposits it in the bone. So the K2, it removes it in the wrong areas and deposits it in the right area. So now you've got inflammation gone and you've got no calcium. So now movement is now going to become a little more easier. You're going to have more movement on it. So now, next thing is, you've heard about rebuilding joints. You've probably heard about glucosamine, chondroitin, and MSM. There's a lot of advertising on it. If you've got joints, you need to repair the joints, you need those materials. So now you're ready to rebuild the joints. So to rebuild the joints, you have to provide the materials. So what's the material? Glucosamine, chondroitin, and MSM. MSM has got sulfur. So sulfur-rich foods is necessary for the materials that you need for the joints. The other thing you need for the joints, for the cartilage, is you need collagen. Collagen is like the precursor. In other words, if there's no collagen, the cartilage doesn't get built. So you have to provide collagen, which will then convert into cartilage together with glucosamine and chondroitin. So there's a whole combination of materials, raw materials that you need to do. So how do you make collagen? You make it with lysine, proline, and vitamin C. Vitamin C is a catalyst. It activates the process. Where do you get lysine from? You can take lysine in supplement form, 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams, or you get lysine from your food, from proteins. So you have to have proteins. Lysine is an amino acid which comes from protein. So here you go. So you got the materials now. Now, this is where we come to the complex thing, which is something which is new, probably haven't heard of. So I'm introducing to something new here. And that is what is the game changer. This number 4 and 5 is the game changer where these results have been obtained. Prior to this, these results was very hard to get. I was helping people get to a point where the joints were slowly moving, but the mobility was there. But if you had bone to bone or damaged cartilage, that rebuilding of the joints was very slow. It didn't happen. So as you got older, that does not happen. The rebuilding of joints, by the time you're 20, 30, that happens very fast. But after 30, it doesn't happen. Why? Because there's a peptide called a copper peptide. the copper peptide at 20 years old is at a high level, and as you get older, by the time you're 60, it's the volume of the peptide inside your blood is much lower. And that peptide is like a switch. It's a signal. So the body needs a signal to activate the rebuilding of the joints. So if that signal is not there, that process does not happen. So you can have all the materials and there's no signal, there's no conductor. So the copper peptide, what it does, when you raise the copper peptide, there's various ways of raising the copper peptide. Copper peptide, you can get them on the market. You can get them as creams, as serums, as injections. It's over the counter. You can buy them. If you go online, you can research copper peptide. It was discovered in 1973 by Laurent Picard, Dr. Laurent Picard. He discovered it and gave all the properties that it has. It activates the cells. It activates dormant stem cells. So if you're looking at stem cell therapy, look at copper peptide, because that's another way of activating your stem cells. Stem cells are dormant as you get older, and when you can activate it, you do this. So there's enough research and medical research and papers on that does that. So for you to now to start the cartilage process, the regeneration process, to rebuild the joints, you need that copper peptide. And then the other thing, the last one, is infrared therapy. So you've got infrared masks, you've got infrared beds that you can use, because what the infrared does, it activates the cells. So under your skin, there are cells that will be activated by the infrared. So the moment you've got infrared and it activates the cell, that one cell will actually produce copper peptide. So the body can make its own copper peptide as well with infrared. All right, so these are the two things. So now, how do you do this? I explain how to do this in my consultations, because this is a little bit more complex. It requires guidance. And however, it's available, which means there is hope that you can actually attain a life pain-free with the freedom of mobility, where you can run, play, dance, travel, do sports, like the likes of a teenager. So even if you're 60, 50, 60 or 70, you love playing golf, but your fingers are like stuck now, or your joints are a thing, you can't play, or you want to play cricket or whatever, here is your chance, your solution towards attaining that and reversing all these things. So is it possible to regenerate cartilage? Yes, it's possible. You just have to follow this. Plus, I have enough people that I've helped with step 1 to 5, which have actually attained these results, which I told you earlier. So make contact with me. The link is in the description below. Let's meet for 30 minutes on Zoom, and I will take you through this, and then I will explain to you how to do it. So for steps 4 and 5, I have come across a cutting-edge, non-invasive technology which actually combines the two. Amazing. Right. So I'm going to share this with you if you want to know this, because 1 to 5 you can do by yourself at home. This is easy to do. However, the cutting-edge technology that I have to explain to you how it works, and we can do it on a 30-minute health consultation, and I will share that with you. Subscribe to my channel, and from the channel you get more health tips, and I've got a lot of other videos as well on all health matters that I share with you. Thank you for listening, and I trust I'll meet with you. And please share this video for those that you know have got joint problems and would like to live a life of free mobility. Thank you, and a better quality of life. Thank you for listening, and I trust I will hear from you and that you will be sharing this video.